So if at all you have visited your Bootstrap page, you can see that you have been given with two options. One is you can download the file and you can start working on it, or you can even use the CDN links. So if at all you click on the download button, you will be redirected to this page where you have a download option. If you click here, you will get the files downloaded to your local. So if at all I click on get started, I will be redirected to a page where I will be available with the CDNs that I can use. So I'll just copy it and paste it here, which I have done already. So if at all you see, first is a link for CSS, next comes the script for jQuery, next the two other tools are for bootstraps provided by the bootstrap people. So if at all you see here, I have created a div whose class name is container, under which another div has been created whose class name is row, under which I have again created a div whose class name is a call. And when I run it, you can see it on your right hand side. If at all you wanted, you can click it here. It gets opened in a new tab. So this is your layout. So it has been not starting exactly from your left hand side. So let's see how does it exactly works. So before we go there, if at all you see here, all the files that we are using is a minified version. That is, if at all you see, you can see that bootstrap.min.css or bootstrap.min.js or even the jQuery, we are using a min.js. So why are we using this? It is a minified version of the original file, which helps us to load the website more faster. So if at all we use a minified version, the website gets loaded in 2 seconds, which is not the same if at all we use the original one. So this is how your file looks. This is not a minified version. This is the original file. How does it looks? And it has all the classes that we need. So we will be using all the classes from here. So before we go there, we will be discussing something called media queries. That is nothing but how the Bootstrap has been split the screen resolutions depending on which we will be designing it. So if we say, 1 second, yeah. So we have something called extra small. We have something called extra small that is defined as XS. If at all you have find anywhere which terms as XS, so which means that it is designed for the resolutions that is less than 560, which means it is designed for the devices whose resolutions is less than 560. And next comes small, that is defined with SM, whose resolution is greater than or equals to 576 pixels, which means the devices, sorry, greater than or equals to, which means the devices whose resolutions are greater than 576 pixel or is equals to 576 pixel falls under this category. Next comes the medium. Medium is nothing but for your tabs and all. So it's defined as MD, called as medium, and its resolution is same again, greater than or equals to 768 pixels. So if the devices whose resolution is greater than 768, it doesn't comes under this category. Sorry, less than 768, it comes under small, and or devices whose resolution is greater than 768, it comes under medium. You can even have a 12 inches laptop that also falls under medium. Then comes the LG, that is nothing but large screens, where it starts with the breakpoint is screen resolution greater than or equals to 996 pixel. Sorry, 992 pixel. Then comes your extra large screens. Extra large screens are nothing but defined as Excel, your projectors. Extra large screens your projectors or monitors with 31 inches or more than 31 inches, whose screen resolutions are greater than or equals to 1200 pixels. So this is how the breakdown is done in Bootstrap. So let's see it in a practical way. So if at all you see here, you have I have created an ABCD which is under this. So I just see, let's see. So first I have created a class whose name is container. So just go here and check for container. Otherwise, you just right click and do an inspect. Yeah, let it load. It takes some time. Yeah, so if at all you see here, this is a container, and if you wanted to see what it is, you see since our screen resolution is 1980, sorry, 1980, so our category falls under extra large, so the maximum width is 1140 pixel. That is for a container. Okay, so this is a CSS properties for a container, which falls under the resolution is 1200 pixels, more than 1200 pixels. If at all you see the width is 100% and you have also padding onto your left and right, that is 15 pixels, and margin is auto. So which makes you align to the center. And if at all you see inside the container, again I have a class called row. So again you have a margin onto your left and onto your right, that is minus 15 pixels, and your display is flex. Okay, so if at all you go again inside, you can see that I have created another class called call, whose properties are again CSS properties are max width is 100%. So if at all, what I'll do is I create another div here. Class will be the same. Class will be the same call. I'll this time I'll call it. Okay, so I have closed it. Again I'll run. I'll come here. I'll refresh my page. So once it's refreshed, if at all you have seen, it's like everything came side by side. Like the two divs are side by side, A, B, C, D, and D, E. So why do we use call is if at all you don't know exactly how many columns you are going to have, then you can use COL where it gives you the equal number of columns. Like if at all it has 5 columns, the width is split equally into 5 parts. If at all you have 6 or you have 10, again the same thing happens. It gets equally split into 10 parts or equally split into how many any X number of parts that are you going to consider here. So it should not be exceeding 12 if at all you wanted a good design. So for such kind of things, you will be using call. So why do we use exactly again? If at all I give it you in a brief, let's say we have a heading here. We'll mention why are we using it. So equal columns. So whenever you refer to this page or the link again, you can easily find it. So to get it, I'll just add another column called BG primary and BG secondary. So I have added another two classes. I'll just refresh it. So if at all you have seen here, so again, equal columns, it has been split into three, that is equal columns and then ABCD and then DEF. If at all you see the columns have a different backgrounds, so I have just given it so that it differentiates you instead of getting confused. So what we'll do here is we'll just have a break. So whatever elements you give, it gets equally split. It's not only a div or anything. So what happens here is there'll be a h1 tag with whole column using it, and we'll be having another row with a different column. And the format should be the same. If at all you miss any single class in this, you won't be able to get that. Let me show you. So if at all I miss this row and I'll run this, I won't get the same output. This time I'll be having it on the top and bottom. So the format should be container. Inside container we need to have a row. Inside row we need to define column. So if I can refresh it, you can see that A, B, C, D and D, E, F, the same columns with equal widths defined in a single row. So for easier understanding, I have added an additional classes called BG primary and BG secondary, which means these are the classes for which you can use if at all you wanted to have a background color change. That is, for BG primary, you will be having a blue one, and for BG secondary, you will be having a black. We will see this in detail in the coming classes or the coming videos. So this is how we define it. So if at all you wanted to have different layouts, you can have it. So in general, we call this as a grid layout in Bootstrap. So this is for equal columns. So if I don't want any equal columns, then again I can create a new row, and again I'll mention it. So this is how it is done. Again, yeah, for a different one. Again, I'll create a div whose class is row. Again, open, close the div. This time I will create a three classes. Okay, so first div class whose column is SM6, SM4, MD-6, call hyphen LG-12, call hyphen, yeah, let's have it like 8. Then we say XL, that is extra large as 12. And then I'll close this div. For easy reference, I'll just add another class, that is bg-primary. Next, I'll add some data. Next, again, I'll create another div whose class is call-4 and call hyphen md hyphen 6, call hyphen lg hyphen 2, call hyphen xl hyphen 12. And again, background color is secondary. Again, closing the div, creating, again having some text. Then I'll go with a new column, that is the div, whose class is again. Again, call hyphen sm hyphen 4, call hyphen md hyphen 12, hyphen lg hyphen 2, call hyphen xl hyphen 12. Again, close the div, again have some data, then just refresh. So if at all you have seen here, we have got three rows where it is full 100%. I'll just change the color of it. So I'll just go here and I'll check for the colors. That is BG primary. Yeah, if at all you see here, you see what is the color for primary, what is the color for secondary, and we can even use this. Then nothing but BG success. So I'll just use the same class. If you see ESS, again I'll just reload. See, we have got three columns. Each column is filling the container because we have taken it as 12. So we are using 100% of the width. So again, if at all you do the inspect, just go under div, under the container, under the row. If at all you click here, you can see that you have got a primary color here. And since it is 12 XL, that is extra large 12, the width is 100%. So if at all I see how does it appears in other devices, you see, if at all I go to, so in the tablet view that is 768, which comes under medium, what I have mentioned here is first will be medium 6, 6 and 12. So 50%, 50% and 100%. Next is the laptop. So in the laptop, it is large, that is LG. What I have mentioned is 822. You see, 822. If at all you consider the small device, that is 425. You can see that you have everything in an individual lines. If at all you see why this is happening, because our starting range is, as I said, our starting pixel range is 560 pixels. Since this is less than 560 pixels, you are getting it here because we haven't mentioned anywhere about excess. You see, we have just mentioned small. So what we'll do is we'll again go here, call hyphen. You can mention it like this also, excess hyphen 6. Same thing here, call hyphen excess hyphen 6. Just go here and click on run. Just wait till it gets loaded. second, let me see. Yeah. So for extra small, we'll be not using XS. We'll be just mentioning it directly. That is call hyphen 6 or call hyphen 432. So here we have mentioned all the resolutions. That is, if it is an extra small devices, the first two column will be 6 and the third column will be 100%. If it is a tablet, the same view, and if it is a laptop, again it changes. That is 8422. Again, if you take an extra large device, again it is 100%. So this is how we are using the columns. So I'll just create another class here. This is one row. Again, this is another row. So I'll just segregate it. We can name these different length columns and close up H1. So again, same. I'll again create a new where text is centered and justified. Justified and centered. So what I'll do is again I'll create a div whose class is row and I'll just add a new class called justify content and md centered. md center and I'm just going to close and I'm just going to close this div and I'll just copy the same class. Now I need to just copy it back outside. I'll just have it outside. So just copy this and then paste it here. Just go here and run. Reload your page. So where you need to add another column here. I mean your class. Hyphen md hyphen auto. So I'll just remove this all classes here. And just reload it. So if at all you see here, so the content is aligned center. I mean, the column is aligned center and the content is justified. So this is how you can play with the different kinds of columns. So I'll just show you the whole possible combinations that we can use, and you can work around. So let's see how many ways we can use it to have a different possibilities of or outcomes of a grid. So I'll just create a new file here. I'll name it as grid.html, and I'll just copy the major files here. So I'll just copy it and paste it here, and then change it to grid system. So starting with let's have a brief starting. So again we'll start with the container and just remove all this. Div whose class is equals to container, close the div, inside the div again. So general grid, create a div whose class is row, whose class name is row, and then close the div. Inside that, I can create a div whose class is call hyphen extra large hyphen one, call hyphen close the div. In the same way, I'll just copy it and I'll just paste it 12 times. Mm, So if I run it, you see you have got all columns here, one after the other. Since we haven't mentioned it on other pages, so other widths. So what I'll do is again I'll mention call hyphen lg hyphen one. Again I'll just add the same class to all of this. And then if you just go here and refresh it, you can see that In large screens, it is side by side, and in the extra large, it is also one next to the other. So, again, if you go to the small devices, again it will be again the default because we haven't mentioned for that particular thing. So what we can do here is we have two options. One is we can go on mentioning like call hyphen md hyphen one, or you can even mention it as call hyphen one. This is helpful when you have equal partitions to be done. That is, all the columns are of equal widths, or you wanted a columns of equal widths. Or in such cases, you can go with this. As I put on again, I refresh. You see, everything is in an individual column, which are side by side to each other. I'll be sharing this link in the video so you can have a practice and look at a practice of it. Again, I'll just create a new file. It is for the components. I'll just name it as components.html. Again, I'll just copy all the files. So I'll just remove this. Again, I'll just create a container div with the class name container. Close the div. Inside the container, again, I'll create another div with the class name row. Again, close the div. Inside row, first I'll be going with an component called badge. So if at all you wanted to have any badges given in your web page or a menu anywhere, you can use this. Let me show you. I'll just take a span and I'll just give the class name as badge normal slash span. So if at all I just visit the page, you can see that I have a badge which is normal. Again, I'll just create another badge whose class is again same badge, but this time I'll add another thing, that is badge primary. So again, go here, refresh it. You can see that you have two. One is a normal badge, another one is a primary badge. And just rename this grid system to components. In the same way, I'll just create other badges, or I'll just copy it because we have 5 to 6 batches. So instead of primary, again I can give it as secondary. Again, after secondary, next comes the success. Next is danger, followed by warning. So if you can use any of this depending on your requirement. So if at all you wanted a red color or an orange color, depending on it, you can use it. So danger will be in the red and the warning will be in the orange. Success will be in the green. Then comes an info. That will be in the blue, light blue. So if at all you are providing any information in the form of a badge, you can use this. And next is a light. It is if at all you wanted to use it on a huge dark background. Next comes the dark. It is to use it on top of a light background. So these are the common one that you can find it in anywhere, even in the backgrounds also. You can find as BG hyphen primary, secondary, success and all. So once you load it, you can see that this is how normally badges looks like. If at all you see in the light, it's not a completely white, but it's a partial white with a text as a with a dark text on it. So this is how we generally create a badge. So the other way to use the badge is you can use it along with a button also, that is inside a button. So let me show you. I'm just creating a button. Okay, type is a button, and then for this I'll just create a class, normal general class, that is button primary, and the text for this is let's say inbox, and then inside that I'll use a span and I'll give a class. Sorry, inside that I'll give a span with a class, same badge light, and I'll say that 250, and I'll close the span, and again I'll close the button. So if at all I view it in the front end, it will look something similar to this. So if at all you want to, you can use it in any of your admin panel that you are creating using Bootstrap. So this is again 2 in 1. So you have a button, and again you have it badge inside a button. So normally this is the default badge. Apart from this, you also have something called pill badges. So again, pill badge is same, but you have an additional class that gets added. So here in everything, I'll just remove this normal. So inside this everything, you will get another class, additional class added called badge hyphen pin. So I'll just add it. So this is also you can use it for another decoration. So if at all you see, you will get an edges with more curves. So if at all you wanted a more curve one, you can use this. Again, if at all you wanted to have a links in this, instead of creating a span, you can directly mention this inside and link. That is, let's call this as a link badge. Link badge. So close it. So what I'll do is I'll just create a link. So inside that I'll just mention as a default one, and for that I'll just may give the same class. That is, I'll give it a badge hyphen success, the text, and then close. How is it here? You see, you can click it. You see. So this looks similar to a button, but it's not exactly a button. What we have created here. So again, it depends on your request. So let's have this all in a single row inside a single row. And just create a div and class name is row. Close the div. Again, inside the row, I'll just create a div with the class call. Again, close the div. Just paste it here. So again, I'll just copy it from fill. I'll have it in another column. So div class again, whose class name is call. So why we are using here call is because it gives us an automatic partitions. Again, I'll got it from bag link. Create another div whose class is equals to call again. Close the div, paste it, and just refresh the page. So this is the types of badges which we have, and this is how we can use it whenever you require it at specified your requirements. So next in the components are breadcrumbs. So again, I create a new row here. Again, I close this div. Sorry. Inside this div, I'll create a column. Again, close this div. Here I'll show you how can we create a breadcrumbs. So initially, what is the breadcrumbs? We use it for as a navigation path. If at all you have visited any information portal, Like any blog pages, you might have seen that you'll have something called a breadcrumbs or a navigation, smaller navigation menu below the menu, original menu, which shows your redirection. Like you have come from home page to some X category and from X category to some X post. So I'll show you how to achieve it. So since it's a navigation, you have something called label. You can give the names, you whatever you want. Since it's a breadcrumb, I'll just go with the breadcrumb itself. Here you can have an ordered list or an unordered list, but going with an ordered list is best. Inside the ordered list, similarly, we have a list. And then here it's classes, breadcrumbs, item, and active. So this is the only thing which gives you, which says the browser that okay, this element is the active one, so show it differently. And area current is equal to page, and give the name of it, home slash and. So I have closed it, so I need to close the navigation also. So I just go here and refresh it. See, you have seen something called home with a background. Okay, let me name it H1. I'll name it inside the call. H1 breadcrumb. So in the similar way, if at all you have two or more, I'll just copy it and paste it here. So this time this would not be the active page. So I have come inside an home page. So this will be just an breadcrumb item. Next, I just have another airline whose again class is equals to breadcrumb item, and this time this element is active. So it will be again you will be given with area current, area current again it's a page. Can mention it as inner page slash li. So if at all I go here and again I refresh it, you see again you got a new breadcrumb where home page is your older page, and you are in the inner page from home page. So you can have it in many ways. So you can even change the separation. That is, instead of slash, you can even give any other symbols that you wanted, and you will be doing it in your JS files. So let me show you. I'll just create a JavaScript file here. So in this JavaScript file, what I'll do is dollar breadcrumb divider is, so instead of slash, I would like to have a greater sign symbol. Next is the buttons. So again, I'll create a div with a class row. Inside the row, I'll have an h1, close the h1, and then I'll just have the same buttons as it is defined. Button class is equal to btn hyphen primary. Hmm. And then close the button. Next is we'll also close the div. So I'll just go here and then refresh it. Yeah, you can see something called primary. So let me just put this in a column. So I'll just create a div and class is equals to column. Again close the div. In the same way as we have seen in the above badges, this is also has the same thing, something called primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, next is light, last but not the least is dark. Dark. Mhm. So again, same. If you go here, just refresh it. So these are the buttons. That is primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, light, and dark. Next, again, I'll create another div. This again, this class will be called. Again, closing the div. You have something called outlined buttons. Same as to the above one, but it has something called outline. So this is filled. You will be seeing something called a button which has an outline instead of filling. So same. There is another additional class added to this called BTN outline. Sorry, primary. So instead of button, I will be saying BTN primary, B secondary, success, again danger, warning, light, dark. So I'll just refresh it for you. Yeah, this is how a normal button and outline button looks. So actually, if at all you see here, you have something called light, but which is not visible since our background is a light one. Next comes the sizes. Again, I will create a class, same call. Sorry, I'll just close the div. Inside the column here, right? Button sizes. Same button, class as BTN. Again, BTN primary. So if you wanted to have a small button, then you can say it as BTN-SM. Small button. Yeah, just copy it. In the same way, you have something called medium and large. Large is LG and LG. Just refresh it. You can see that you have three buttons of different sizes. You have a smaller button, you have a medium button, and you have a larger one. In the same way, you have something called block level buttons. So this block level buttons is nothing but it occupies the full width of your column. So as is the same, the class name remains the same, primary and hyphen block. An additional class gets added. Block level button slash button. Just refresh it. You see, if at all you have seen, it has covered all the width of the container. So you can use any of these buttons in your application or in your website wherever you wanted it. So next is the card. So in the next video, I will be continuing with the other component elements.